I've owned my 2019 CRF450L for 1,200 miles and a couple months now, long enough to do 2 oil changes on it. And I can say without a doubt this is my absolute favorite motorcycle I have ever owned. And I had a CBR 600RR in bright yellow that I used to just tear the piss out of. This is even more fun than that. So let's real quick talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, some things I've changed, some things I'm going to change on the bike. So far I've added seat concepts Comfort XL seat to it because the motocross seat is great for motocrossing, but if you're riding around on the road or if you're trying to do any adventure bike stuff, you can't be standing all the time, and that seat is just destroys your ass. So the seat concepts Comfort XL is a really good seat, super comfortable, and a must-do mod. The other mod that I did that is a must-do mod is the IMS 3-gallon tank to replace the anemic 2-gallon tank. You know, 2 gallons is great for a motocross bike. For a dual sport, it's just ridiculous. I'm not sure what Honda was thinking, other than they were trying to save some money by not putting a bigger tank on it, or maybe they didn't want to up the weight claim on this bike to actually hit 300 pounds. So maybe it's just me being picky, but the CRF450L with the fuel injection, when you were putting around in first and second gear in technical terrain, the throttle had an on-off quality to it. Either it was trying to do 10,000 RPM or nothing. So I added a G2 Ergonomics throttle tamer throttle to the bike, and it's made a pretty big difference. It's not night and day, but you can definitely tell that the throttle doesn't try to kick you off the ass end of the bike every time you move it 1/8 of an inch. So those are some of the major improvements I've done to the bike, along with like the hand guards, the bash guards, which I'm changing from the Acerbis to a new pair. I think that'll be the next video, something a little more sturdy. Remember when I started this whole journey a couple months ago, this is my first dirt bike. I have crashed and tipped over this damn thing so many times. I've unscrewed the mirrors, I've had to hammer the handguards out so that they'd fit back on, and in fact one's given up the ghost. It's just kind of hanging on by one screw anymore. I've got scratches, I've dented the exhaust. I'm still having a blast. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, I'm just letting you know I have not been kind to this bike. This bike is taking care of me so far. Some of the things I like about the bike, road manners on this thing is pretty good for a dirt bike. I understand it's raked out just a little bit more than the 450R, so it can do 70 miles an hour without high-speed wobbles, and it'll actually do up to about 75, I've found in my experience, before things get a little weird. And then of course it's governed to 90 miles an hour, so once you hit 90, you hit the hard rev limiter at the end of that. I'm sure the road manners have a lot to do with the IRC tires on it. I think they're rated at 80% dirt, 20% road. I don't know if I believe that. It's probably more like 25% road. But anyways, on the road they work really well. Super smooth. They don't vibrate too much. They work okay on hard pack. They don't work for crap in the mud. There's just, the lugs just aren't big enough, and the lugs aren't deep enough either. They don't do so well in the sand either, so I'm going to call them a hard terrain tire. For that, they work just fine. Guys, enjoy me riding around on the road. I know I'm not doing 100 miles an hour, but hey, don't forget, this bike can't do 100 miles an hour. It'll only do 90, so don't blame me for being slow. It's the bike's fault.